the banding pattern with with skeletal muscle, right? And when you take a look at this muscle right here, the banding pattern has to do with the actin and myosin, whether or not they're overlapping or not overlapping. Where they're overlapping between the actin and myosin, you'll see the darker bands. Where they're not overlapping, right, you'll see the lighter gaps on there. Right? All right, so the nucleus are typically going to be out on the periphery on these guys, but what you're looking at right here is the contractile machinery. Right? So when you look at it, it looks like, oh no, the nucleus is right on the actual edge of it, right? It's right in the middle of it, but that's not. There's a nucleus right there. It's actually pushed out onto the side, and find that cross section right here. So when you take a look at the cross section of this skeletal muscle, you can see the nuclei. See how all the nuclei are out on the periphery? Okay. They're all pushed out onto that outer edge. All right. So here's the cross section, and then if I go back over here, here is the longitudinal section. Right, and you can see that it's striated. So sometimes you'll see this as voluntary muscle, striated muscle, skeletal muscle. Right, this is the stuff that we use for locomotion, but we also use this for heat production as well. Right? This is the stuff that you have voluntary control over. When you compare that to, say, cardiac muscle also looks striated. However, when you look at cardiac muscle, it's branched. And in cardiac muscle, the other thing that you want to look for are these breakpoints, or these little dark structures right here. See this dark structure right here and right there? All right, that right there is the boundary point. Okay, and that is intercalated disc. Okay, that structure is called an intercalated disc, and that intercalated disc has a junction right there that allows for adjacent myocardial cells to communicate with each other. What kind of junctions allow for communication between animal cells? Gap junctions. Got it. So that's the gap junction right there. That's the boundary between two myocardial cells. There's a gap junction right there that allows for the movement of things like sodium ions and so forth. Right? So that's going to help with that coordination of muscle contraction. Right? So when you're looking at this, right, look for the intercalated discs on the cardiac muscle. And cardiac muscle is also a lot more branched on there, right? Some of them are easier to find, some of them are harder to find. It's kind of hit or miss. So for example, here's another one right here. It's kind of faint. Right? So there's one right there as well.
Where are the striations?
Striations aren't as clear on this one, but you can see the striations right up here, along with the dirty fibers on there. Those nuclei, yeah. So, but cardiac muscle is also striated. Alright, name the cell type at the tip of the pointer. No. Name the tissue type. Columnars. How can you tell they're columnars? Nucleus are all down in the basement membrane, right? What also gives it away? Those goblet cells right there. See those goblet cells I just kind of made out of focus? What's the function of goblet cell?
Mucus production.
Mucus production.